Shouts out Big Steve.
What up? Welcome again to another episode of the Big Brain MMA podcast. 111, big pay-per-view episode, last UFC episode of the year. It won't be my last podcast. Surely I'll have some regional shows. Yeah, we have a special guest on today, which, he'll be in here when it's actual time. I just felt like going a little bit early, doing a little overview, and then I'll bring him in. So, yeah, last week, 2 weeks ago, we had the worst loss ever, 6,200, which I mentioned on the last pod. And yeah, last week, bad UFC for betting. I only had Talita Alencar as a 240 underdog, $2.40. And yeah, she won a split. But yeah, women's MMA, pick and fight. She had all the grappling upside, but, couldn't really get the wrestling going. I won $700 there. And then I just kind of, had $50 pokes, Nazrat round 2 KO, which lost, Iron Turtle round 3 KO. And I had a parlay with Song and the Smith Khalil fight to start round 2, which gave me, $800. So 1,250 there, 1,200 on Octagon. I left a bit of money on the table there. $800 on Brave and $800 and something on PFL. So I made 4,000 something for the week. And yeah, brought me back to only less than a unit, 1,300. So I'm happy. Whatever happens, I'm not too behind 50,000. So yeah, happy with that. And yeah, if it's your first time listening, like and subscribe. If you don't know who I am, Big Steve, full-time bettor from Australia. Yeah, I doubt there'll be any new listeners. You never know. Maybe my guest brings on someone. Yeah, let's address the comments. Glimbot 5,000. What's going on, mate? You left this comment a full day ago. Appreciate it. Lou Betcha always in here. Dixon cider, my favorite cider taste. Olivas is here. He will be here soon enough. And George and Era, let's get it, boys. Let's get it indeed. Right. Yeah, I might do a little overview of the year by the end of the year. I skipped it last year on the podcast. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I'll also be increasing the Discord price to $50 Australian. So yeah, jump in before the end of the month. New year, new price. If not, doesn't matter. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's start with this fight. Now, this card is... I like a lot of underdogs on this card. Way too many underdogs. And it's a pay-per-view card, so... Who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully don't get destroyed. Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikhov. I'm not going to talk too much about this fight. I know Olivas doesn't have too much time, and I don't really want to go over an hour anyway. So, yeah, this is a dogger pass. I didn't go in depth. I only taped Luque versus Randy Brown because obviously Luque is fighting on this card. And yeah, that's all I needed to see. I mean, I watched the Turman fight just for Turman last week when I was taping him. And yeah, Randy Brown is going to give Muslim Salikhov the slow-paced fight that he wants. He can't check leg kicks. He's chinny. And yeah, he just dances around too much. So yeah, clear dogger pass. There's a narrative that Muslim Salikhov is washed, and I did, fade him a few times recently. But that Nicolas Dalby fight is the worst fight for him. Absolutely the worst fight. They gave him a durable guy with great cardio, pushes the pace, and can also grapple. And Salikhov always has the grappling issues. So, yeah, clear dogger pass. I will potentially have to do some more tape and go deeper into it. All right, we've got some good comments in here. LP, Big Steve in the house. LP, you're the new subscriber in the Discord, I think. Thanks for listening, mate. I love the positivity. I'm afraid this first fight might look like Asensao versus Victor Henry. Where Salikhov dominates him for 3 rounds? Maybe. Let's hope so. 39-year-old Russian is really 33 in American years. Here we go. Someone's in the background eating. Do I bring him in? I'll bring him in. What's going on, mate?
What's happening, Big Steve?
You might have sent me a text not to bring you because you're eating, but I don't know. I thought I'd bring you in anyway.
That's okay. It's more authentic this way.
Yeah, bro. It's live. There's no editing here. Thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for doing this. I don't know if people know this, but not long ago I was blocked on all the social medias by you. So it's good to have you on the show.
It's 2023, the year of redemption. You know, we're mending bridges. We had Evan on our podcast, and that's how we're doing it, man.
Yeah, fair enough. Glad you won your fight too. So maybe things would have been different if you lost. Maybe you would have just kept me blocked out of spite.
In fairness, I think I unblocked you before the fight, so it had no bearing on the result of that.
Here we go, Lou Betcha. So I just quickly did this fight, man. I said it was a clear dog or pass. I thought this was probably the one that you want to save some time on anyway.
Yeah, I'm not huge on this one because I love Muslim Salikhov. Like I try to do my striking like him all the time. I love his feints. Everything he does in the striking game is beautiful, but I'm worried that he gets old man in this one. You got youth and athleticism on the side of Randy Brown, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the narrative. That's the narrative. So Randy Brown is just going to give him the fight. So yeah, I might be on him in some capacity by the end of the week. I just didn't want to spend too much time taping this fight because there's a lot of regionals.
Yeah, Randy feels a little flaky. I don't know why. He never feels like a real fighter to me.
Well, he is. He's chinny. He's chinny and he dances around and yeah. I mean, it's a perfect fight for. It's a step down from Nicholas Dalby. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no kidding.
George and I, strange matchmaking. Pepe, mate. Pepe's your number one fan. And apparently Lou Betcher is too. Where's the Olivas incels? I remember when I had Pierce on for the first time, I had all these randoms on my podcast. I'm waiting for them to show up. Steve's dad is a no-show. He'll be here, mate. Give him a chance. Alrighty. Shamil, Gaziev, Martin, Buday. I'll take this one away because it's one of my not many bets, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I'd like to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, I like Shamil, and not overly chuffed that all of Twitter is on him, but at least the line is moving, so there's got to be some sharp people on him too. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an easy click. I know Gaziev well. You know, I taped him in depth for the Contender Series fight, and I was a bit concerned by his cardio and his jiu-jitsu, to be honest. And I know Velasquez is a bit of a interesting, scrambly jiu-jitsu guy, even though he's fought nobody. And I played the under there, and don't have much more footage since that. He just finished him again, dropped him, finished him with a rear naked choke, which is what we've seen on his tape. And now he's fighting Buday, who, the only reason I played this is Buday might have, cardio, durability, and Homer Simpson equity. And I actually had played a lot of Buday juice in the UFC career because, look at the people he's fighting. Lorenzo Hood, Barnett, Bresky, Collier. You can just lay the juice and get away with it because these are just not UFC level guys. But this one is actually fighting a more athletic guy with power, and he might be gassy, but he clearly has skills, right? Gaziev is a skilled fighter. So I just thought I haven't seen Buday cover minus 200 other than the Parisian fight. So I thought even if Gaziev gasses, this could be a competitive fight. We haven't really seen Buday on his back. This is literally the best opponent he's fought since he lost in 2017 to Espina, which I can't find that fight anywhere, but I assume he got wrestled. Obviously, he was in Spain. He was young. It was his debut. Bit of a tough task. So yeah, just the numbers play. I didn't expect it to come in this much, but yeah, I got plus 150, $2.50. I missed out on $1.60 as I was watching the screen, thinking about it. As I said, wasn't an easy click, and sometimes I hate relying on live betting myself out, just in case Gaziev loses round one. I think it's pretty safe that he's going to win round one. Buday generally gives it away, and we haven't seen him on his back. But when he was on his back at the end of round one against Collier, that was a rough look. He just turtled up and rough look. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think plus 150, that's definitely worth the shot because you look at his body mechanics, you look at how he moves, man. He's a really clean striker. He can wrestle his ass off. The problem is obviously his cardio, right? And that's the narrative this week, and I think that's absolutely the truth. Even the fight that he won the split decision, went all 3 rounds, he was pressing the guy, but never really. He didn't have a lot of action, like not a lot of stuff. So I think for me, he's round one or bust, but that's a big if, right? I mean, he definitely can win that in the first round. I think Buday gets hit a ton. He gets hit a ton in the first round, and he's chin up, even swinging as he engages. And this dude moves so well. Shamil does. I picked Buday to win this fight overall. I think he moves better than his body looks. His grappling looks like it's leveled up. He's got those big, nasty ears. You can tell he's been grappling. Honestly, as long as he doesn't get chinned in the first, I think that Shamil's going to have a tough time moving his body around for 3 rounds. And one thing that I really like is that he's always looking for underhooks too, right? Every time he gets pressed on the cage, we haven't seen very many people try to grapple him, but every time they do, he's always looking for that underhook and has the right mechanics. Honestly, that's enough for me. Enough of a difference for me versus Shamil's Aries fight to lean with the Buday here, as long as he gets out of the first round.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I agree about the underhooks. He does it quite well. He's really good against the cage at the clinch and those knees and stuff. But yeah, I feel like Shamil has all kinds of takedowns. He's got the leg trips, the reaps, and locking. He even locks his hands up against behind the back. It can dump
if he starts going trips early, then I think you just gotta smash him live. I mean, if he's going trips and using low energy takedowns, the problem is if he starts lifting and dumping Buday, that's a big body to move for 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a scary fight, but I'm just kind of just play the number and hope for the best. Yeah, I don't think he's round 1 or bust, but we'll see. Are you familiar with that kickboxer that he fought in Aries, the 17-1 dude?
I just watched just that fight.
Oh, yeah. I think I'll say one thing. I'm a little bit nervous about Gaziev getting Kimura'd because in that fight, he was in 2 deep Kimuras. He didn't look like he knew how to defend the Kimura. And then that easy reversal by Velasco after he dropped him. I was just like, man, this guy's jiu-jitsu is a little bit sus.
Yeah, but you have to remember, that's not even a jiu-jitsu move. Velasco is a college wrestler. That was just, what did he hit, like a switch or something off of it? Some kind of a hip heist and came to the top. Right? I don't think that Buday is capable of something like that. Yeah.
He's a great scrambler. All right, let's move on. I know you don't watch English football. Olivas and BigSteve link up. This is equivalent of Suarez and Sturridge partnership it's a Liverpool reference. They absolutely killed it. So I think that's a compliment for us. Alrighty. Andrew Fili, Lucas Almeida. So I said before you came on, man, I said I like about 6 or 7 dogs on this card. And I started out with 3 of them. So I'm considering Lucas Almeida as well. Actually, I have a play, but I don't like it because I did it. I tried to do a Pepe and hit an early line without tape on Bet Online, and it was plus 140. Now it's plus 150. So I was reverse seal lead.
Yeah, moved against you.
But after tape, I was like, there's a bit of value, but it's like, if I taped it first, I probably wouldn't have played it, to be honest. Even though there is value, I'll let you take it away. What do you say?
You're saying on a Lucas Almeida money line. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the underdog. I have plus 140 without tape, and then after tape, I do think it's value, but I probably wouldn't lock it in, to be honest. I would be a bit more cautious.
Yeah, in my mind, I was like, this is going to be an easy Lucas Almeida win. Like I looked at this fight, pardon me, before looking at the odds, and I'm like, man, Lucas is going to tear him up. And then one thing I really didn't like is how he's constantly pedaling on the back foot and Fili's game to move forward at all times. I really feel that if Fili came out and grappled, and we knew for 100% he was going to grapple, he'd cover his price here. But unfortunately, Fili swings really, really wide. He's not quite as sharp as Lucas Almeida. And I think Almeida puts a lot of volume together. So, on the dog odds and just even in the course of the fight, I think Almeida's pretty game. As long as he's not, getting grappled, I like Almeida to win here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's why the line is where it's at, because the grappling and a bit of recency bias after Pat Sabatini.
That was the worst possible matchup for him.
Yeah. I mean, I played him against Pat Sabatini too, and I don't even think, usually I'd meet my bad bets, but I don't think it was that bad of a bet because Pat Sabatini fought much better than he usually has. Like, his control was next level. Obviously, he didn't want to get knocked out again. But then, watching that Lopez fight, it's like, nah, that wasn't a bad bet because Almeida probably could have done the exact same thing if he actually had any seconds on the feet. What's Pepe? So you want me to move the line for you? Yeah, if you want, man. Play some Fili. Yeah, I taped it, and look, I also played Fili against Wood, and I felt a little bit, robbed there. But as I was in Europe, and as the week was going on, everyone was like, yeah, there's value, but I'm not touching Fili. He can't beat any of these better guys. He's a little bit old. He's a little bit washed. And everyone's like, yeah, it's probably going to be a close fight in London. And it was, but I mean, watching it for the first time in Australia when doing tape, because I didn't watch it in Europe live, I'm like, man, he hurt Wood in round 1 and round 2, and he just still lost the fight. because he got dropped like 3 times himself, and then he just gave the fight away in round 3. Yeah, he's a dangerous guy. I also played Almeida against Trezano, and I agree with the volume, man. He was voluming up Trezano, then got dropped. I was like, fuck me. And then he just out-volumed in round 2, dropped him, and finished him in round 3. So he's got a lot of volume. Obviously, the takedowns are an issue, but I think he's improved that a little bit. He took 2 years off before his UFC debut, or before the Contender Series debut. I can't remember which one. His regional takedown defense is much worse. But yeah, the volume. Fili gets dropped by everyone, man. He gets dropped by Jourdain, Brito, Wood 3 times. Yeah, just everyone. And his wins are all split decisions.
Wood's like a flyweight. That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know if he's that light, but yeah, he's definitely a bantamweight. But yeah, he just gets dropped by everyone, man. He gets dropped by everyone. So his path is probably a close split decision where he does a bit of grappling, but I just think it's still a step up from Trezano. So I don't know. I feel like the only reason I'm not confident about this play is because it could be accurate, right? You could give Fili maybe 60 to 65%, because he cracks. He cracks a lot harder than Trezano. He's got that nice head kick. He switches stances. And
where is Andre Fili training?
He's at Alpha Male still.
He is at Alpha Male. Okay, Santino said he was in Vegas. If he was in Vegas, I think you launch an Almeida bet. If he's at Team Alpha Male, a little different.
Where in Vegas? Extreme?
I mean, if he's at Extreme, I'll play Almeida for sure.
Well, you're not
that means zero.
You're
not
a fan of Extreme Couture. Come on, man. It's the goat camp.
Come on. There's a reason that Albazi's out here now.
Is he a fight ready?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to start fading him even more than usual. All right. Let's move on from this fight. So yeah, 3 dogs, but I don't know. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Cody Durden. Another dog I like, man. Another dog I like. I'll let you take it away since you're a black belt grappler.
Hey, almost. I'm getting my black belt soon, next 3 months. Actually, I see everybody on Durden.
I thought you were the first Santino black belt.
No, that's Korean Zombie.
Oh, fuck.
I'm the first Santino brown belt.
No, that's not an accolade.
I know. Come on. It's nothing. But,
I'm talking shit.
Anyways, I see everybody on Durden, and I can understand why, right? You watch the Tim Elliott fight, and you see kind of Tagir getting big brothered, right? You see him getting bullied. He's got kind of the fragility. Is that a word? Fragility. Durden's had a tough time. Yeah, I think it's a word. But I think Durden, he's shown cardio issues early in his career, right? Now he's gone against guys who are willing to just play up against the fence. They refuse to leave, refuse to defend takedowns. I think his cardio goes in this one, man. I think Tagir is big enough and has good enough wrestling to defend the takedowns. His striking, I think, is severely underrated, right? He keeps really, really long strikes, keeps really good range management. The only thing I don't like, weirdly, is his offensive takedowns. I think he uses a lot of body locks and depends on his size for his offensive takedowns. Shoots from his knees a lot of times, which I don't really like, especially for a DAG wrestler. It's interesting. I think that weirdly, if Tagir sprawls and brawls, this is clearly his fight. I don't see, unless Cody can do a solid 15 minutes of top control, how he's going to win this fight. And even then, Tagir does a lot of the right stuff. He's actually one of the few Russians that has really good jiu-jitsu. You watch the way that he uses his butterfly hooks, the way that he stands up. He's really, really clean with his jiu-jitsu mixed with his wrestling. Honestly, I think all that gives Cody a lot of problems, and I don't see him winning a lot of minutes on the feet here. So for me, I really like I like Tagir.
Interesting. I like the dog just because I think Durden striking has improved a lot. So that's why I'm leaning him. In terms of wrestling, I mean, not much footage of him getting wrestled. I didn't want to go through his early. I mean, there is nothing on his early career. Just running through everyone.
He's such a different fighter now too. It's not even the same guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think one of my biggest regrets is he's getting talked out of Durden decision on the last fight and then going with Jack Hadley sub, which was one of those fights where either one of those could have hit. Either Hadley subs him or he loses a decision. But that's Hadley. Hadley's a guy with no takedown defense whatsoever. He's happy to play jiu-jitsu. And Tagir can be taken down, man. You know, Bruno, like you said, the fragility thing was spot on straight away. It's the first thing I thought. He's getting thrown around by Bruno Silva, you know. He was a bit of a beast. Sure, a little small.
Hey, come on. Guy. Bruno's my boy. He can wrestle.
Does he throw you around?
Never.
UFC bound, mate. Can't wait to watch it.
Soon.
I can actually bet on you, and it won't be unbettable odds. Yeah, I think he can be taken down. I mean, we've seen it with Elliott. Elliott took him down like 3, 4, 5 times. Bruno Silva threw him around a bit. But yeah, it's just, I agree with the striking, but I think Cody he's a little bit more of a dogged striker. He throws more. You know, he's cracking Johnson. He was cracking Hadley. He's winning fights on the feet now. Obviously, JP Barr's knockout means nothing to me. Anyone can knock that guy out at this point. But yeah, he's a dog, and his cardio has improved, like you said. His overall game has improved, and his grappling's always been elite. So yeah, I mean, what is there to say? I just feel I can't play Tagir at this price. If anything, it's accurate. You know, I could give him favorite odds. I mean, but he fights close. You know, Nascimento fight close, Bruno fight close, Elliott close. Sure, he gets a step down against Nate Maness and he finishes him, but yeah, it's a dog or pass. But I'm just scared of that. I'm scared of that guillotine. I think he has an elite guillotine, Tagir, and he had a really tight one on Nascimento. So I don't know if Cody gets out of that. And he dived into one against Hadley, so at end of round 1. But yeah, it's not a fight that I have a strong read. So other than dog or pass.
All right.
What can I say?
Just gonna pick dogs the whole time. You should just hit the round robins on everybody, on every dog.
Yeah, I have a thing where I can't have FOMO, right? If I have FOMO, like fear of missing out on a bet, that's when I get destroyed. Like that's 2 weeks ago, I lost 6.2 thousand, and I had FOMO. You know, I had FOMO on Julia Villa and crap. I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh, she's gonna kill Tate. I better not miss out. And yeah, but I'm not. By the end of the week, I'll lock in the dogs that I'm the most confident in. So let me just address
I got
this.
lucky with some inside info on the Miesha Tate.
Oh, you had inside info?
Just that she was looking really good in training, like really, really strong, beating a lot of people in training. That's why I kind of figured she wasn't washed. She could grapple a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do my due diligence. There was a lot of bad bets that week by me. Alrighty. Alonzo Menifield, Dustin Jacoby. Do you have a strong take on this fight?
I feel like you have to, man. I think Dustin Jacoby's proven himself. He was you know that I love me some Dustin Jacoby. I think that if Menifield fights reserved and he fights clean to try to reserve his energy, he's going to get picked apart on the feet. And then if he goes all out, he gasses if he doesn't put Dustin Jacoby away. I think Jacoby's one of the higher fight IQ fighters in the UFC, honestly. Pretty good takedown defense, and even when he does get taken down, he's right back up. He knows his game really, really well. I mean, outside of a Menifield KO, I mean, going life and death with Jimmy Crute at this point is one of the saddest things you can do. I like Dustin Jacoby here. Yeah,
not much more to add by me. We can save some time on this one. I thought I'd like another dog pre-tape. You know, Jacoby's been a money train for me, but he's also burned me a few times with his style. Can be a little bit too pedestrian. I jumped on him against Kennedy, but I don't think Menifield's as chinny as Kennedy. Yeah, Menifield doesn't have one good win in his entire UFC career. I don't count the Jimmy Crute ones as a win either. And he dropped the ball in the first fight. It's just like round 3, he had Crute multiple times there to finish him. Maybe the unders. Someone mentioned the unders to me in the Discord, but just they're minus money, and you know, like I said, both guys are extremely durable. Jacoby kind of needs to put on a pace to finish Alonzo, and can't really trust him to do that. You know, needed to finish against Mozicano and just started grappling him in the third. So yeah,
I mean, the line said 1.5 rounds. I think that's going over. I don't think it's going to end under a round and a half here. Not but it's just that been fighting. He's so reserved.
Yeah, but it's just that minus 200. It's like, you know, I know we have different styles. It's like when all of Alonzo's path is round 1, you know, maybe he comes out rabies. He came out rabies in a few random fights. You just don't know what he's going to do, you know. Sometimes he comes out and wrestles. Go on.
No, I was going to say, if he comes out and wrestles, honestly, I think Dustin Jacoby keeps too good of distance to get hit by Alonzo. I mean, Alonzo has just got such short arms, and he is explosive, and he's the last few fights, other than Jimmy Crute, who he couldn't miss on. I think the second he started tagging him, he understood, like, I literally cannot miss. Let's go for it. But every other fight, you know, every commentator just talks about how reserved he's being and how he's managing his energy now and how he's so different than he used to be. And then you have the jab and low kick merchant in Dustin Jacoby. I mean, a round and a half seems like a fine play to me. Jacoby's not finishing a ton of guys. One every so often, but most of them are going to decision. So I don't know. I think that's a fine spot there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacoby sparks him. I think he's got underrated power. But yeah, Alonzo extremely slow, man, and his accuracy is awful as well. Alrighty. Someone here asked me. I just need to. It's bothering me. Could you knock out JP Byers? I think I could. All right, we can move on now. Riding high. Hey, from New Zealand. Where's your Xmas sweater, Brendan?
I wore it yesterday, man. I can't recycle for 2 shows. Everyone's got to be authentic.
That's it, man. That's it. Alrighty, we've got a good fight here. Only because something tells me that you're a Casey O'Neill fan, and I'm an Ariane Lipski fan, just not her fighting style. Do you want to take it away, sir, or do you want me to do it?
Why don't you lead it off, and then I can just add a little input at the end.
All right. So I played Lipski. Again, it wasn't an easy click. I think she's improved. Obviously, she's improved since going to train with the Lioness. I think after the Mandy Bone fight, that's when she went to train with Amanda Nunes. And, I didn't like that at first when someone told me. But I was like, let's have a look at the camp. And, yeah, she's having one-on-one time with literally Amanda, Nina, and a couple other girls. And the coaches are really good. I looked into the coaches, which I never do. But if I'm locking in a play, why not? I'm playing around with big money, so why not do my due diligence? Some good strength and conditioning coaches, and I think training with Amanda, even though she's retired, has helped her a lot. She's always had the tools, athletic, hits hard. It's just brain farts a lot. So now she kind of reminds me of Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski was getting knocked out, but everyone looked like he was done. Went to AKA or ATT, can't remember which one, and he just completely changed his style, and he's gone on having a bunch of wins in the UFC. So she's done the same thing. She's just really patient, doesn't swing too much, doesn't get level change done there anymore. Obviously, fighting Mandy Bone, Gatto, and JJ with awful wrestling, it's kind of like hard to tell how much she's improved and how much is just a step down in competition. But you can see she's fighting smarter. And Gatto is not bad. Gatto is a decent little step up from JJ. And Gatto was, easily taking down Tracy Cortez and backpacking her, and then all of a sudden she couldn't hit anything on Lipski. So yeah, I mean, I still have that fear in me. Last fights we've seen Lipski off her back was against De La Rosa and Antonina, and she got literally ran through. I cashed in on both of those because it's clear on tape that she just falls apart after round 1. So, if that happens here, Casey, someone I've been trying to fade a lot, and I've been losing money on her up until finally, she lost to Maya, and she traditionally loses rounds 1 just because her entries are awful. But when she gets you down, she's relentless with the ground and pound. You just have to know how to play her. Usually I play her. Usually I lie better after she gets stuffed. She was muscled down by Antonina, was in a crucifix and was getting elbowed, but she's tough. There's no quit in her, so she got up. So yeah, you just have to kind of assume. I mean, I don't know how this fight's going to go. She didn't grapple at all with Roxanne. That fight should have never been a split. Her volume is insane. She out volumed Roxanne in every single round. And then she tried to do the same thing to Maya. And, Maya usually goes to split decisions, but she was just landing such clean punches that it was a clear 29-28. Even then, Casey, with no grappling, she got a beat on her in round 3. She started landing a nice head kick and won round 3 clear on the feet. So it's scary, She's going to push the pace on Lipski. I'm not assuming she's not going to go for grappling like in the last 2. Like, I'm just assuming worst case scenario, and she will go for a wrestle heavy game plan, and that's why it wasn't an easy click. But yeah, at this number, at low women's MMA, how bad Casey's entries are, how hittable she is, I have to take a poke. I only took 1/3 of a unit. I was going to add a little bit of a decision prop on Lipski because she's so negative now, maybe some big moments and skirt on the outside, but it's like not even $1 difference. So just tiny little money line and look to escape on Casey after round 1. What about you, sir?
I think you should probably add more. The reason I say that, so first of all, I'm grateful for the show because nobody watches this show, right? So you can kind of be unfiltered. 50 people are going to watch this. Who really cares?
Say what you mean, bro. You can be racist.
Honestly,
you can be racist on this show, even though you're racist on your own show anyway. So,
am I really? Okay. I mean, I got an interesting mix-up. This line was really shocking to me. I couldn't believe that the line was this. I thought it was going to be flipped. right? Because you had someone who just lost to somebody who's no longer in the UFC. Now, obviously, that's weird stuff. Versus somebody who has had 2 career best performances, right? We've had both at Fight Ready training in the past. I think you're spot on. The entries are horrible, right? They're obvious. They're there. On the feet, there's not really a lot of setup, right? She's going to be the toughest person in the room at any given time, but not a lot of making reads, not a lot of setups. It's just I'm going to throw as much as possible, and I'm going to be tougher and meaner than you. Where Lipski, you can see, is going through a process, right? She's constantly making reads. Even her last fight was really, really beautiful. Everything she did was just a setup to the next, and then she would start putting them together. The biggest thing, and we talked about this with Buday, I don't think her takedown defense is revolutionary takedown defense anymore. All she's doing is getting a good whizzer and an underhook and then jacking girls up, and they can't take her down. It's mind-blowing, right? If anybody cuts an angle, cuts a corner on her, she's going down, and she's going to be on her back for the rest of the round. I think this price is indicative of, if she goes down, Casey's going to be on top for the rest of the round. And that's tough, right? That's the best part of her game is her ground and pound, her elbows. She knows how to sneak them in there and be really mean with it. But, just like I said, Extreme Couture, there's not a lot of coaching. And so when you're seeing lack of game planning and lack of takedowns in the last fight, I don't really think I think that's a lack of coaching, not so much a lack of anything else. And, nothing changed. Nothing's different. Only working with a Muay Thai coach for this one. So what's going to be different for Casey in this fight versus Lipski, who's with the ATT people, with Amanda Nunes, like you said, the best game planners in the world. Man, this is a tough one. I don't want to have a comment about who I think is going to win this fight, but I was surprised at the odds for sure. I think there's definitely some value in the underdog, but then you have the meanest woman probably in the UFC, like literally the meanest woman. So, that's all I'm going to say about that one.
Yep, Casey will fight for your money. The only thing that's weird about this fight is my mate that has whales in Canada, that has big people to tail him. He played Lipski, and then obviously the boy Luque played Lipski, and he usually ruins the line with his tipping service. And then I played Lipski, and I don't move the line that much, but I tipped it out to the Discord, and it's still kind of like plus 170, plus 160. It's like every time someone that moves the line a lot plays her, someone plays O'Neal straight away. And all of us don't know anyone that's played Casey O'Neal. So someone is laying the juice on the favorite, like someone with no social media presence, or maybe just casuals with a lot of money. You see that all the time. They just hammer it.
I don't know. I was with her when she asked for this fight and when she got this fight. She felt very confident. Her management felt very confident in this one. Interesting. I'm just very interested. 98% of Twitter is parlaying her. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how much that's keeping the line firm.
Someone has to be. I looked at it in quickly, expecting a hedge opportunity like Gaziev, and the line just hasn't gone anyway. It's weird. Casey didn't grapple against Roxy Maya. She actually tried to grapple against Maya, but Maya has really good underhooks.
Maya has good underhooks, and she has good lateral movement. Something that Lipski's been a lot better about.
Yeah, but Lipski is also more physical than Maya, so I don't know. It's another scary bet that hopefully the odds don't do me dirty. Alrighty. Hate to sound like a broken record, but there's another dog that I like. Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. First fight I went to look into was when he fought the other Cody Stamen. And, he just kind of got shut down there. And that opened my eyes that Kelleher's a bit of a brawler. And Cody basically didn't even get touched on the feet for 3 rounds. He rarely even wrestled him and just outstruck him nice and clean. And his brother died that week. And he was able to shut him down. And I thought, all right, this is a clear levels fight. And I feel like this is the same thing, clear levels fight. But he's just the great equalizer is how extremely washed Cody is. And, he doesn't throw anymore. It's just all, leg kicks. Stay on the outside and just kind of do the bare minimum. He's scared to get hit. Trevin Jones fight, awful fight. Gave away round 3. I'm extremely vocal about not doing the minus 3.5 plus 3.5 handicaps because of all the rogue 30-27s we see. We saw with Luana Santos against Edgar as well last week. There is no way that Santos won all 3 rounds. It's just retarded. But there's always a judge ruining the handicaps. I think the handicap is live here. Brian Kelleher comes on strong. He fights for your money. he will keep throwing. Even when he loses, he keeps coming forward. He had his best round was round 3 against Cody. Usually it's his best round. And Garbrandt just literally gave away round 3 against Jones. He didn't do anything, and he was gassed. He was completely gassed, and he just ended up on his back and didn't do anything. So it's a clear dog or pass. It's just, at least in round 1, the speed advantage and the sharpness of Cody is going to be so much higher. Again, I'm trying not to fall into FOMO. I'm not trying to have 7 dogs on this card because it could be another destruction. So I'm thinking, I played like a third quarter of a unit on scorecards. Doesn't go decision for Brian, because I contemplated playing him by inside the distance, the guillotine or cracking Cody. Contemplated playing him live bet when he loses round 1. Because I feel like he will also start slow, probably lose round 1 to the speed. But that's where I'm at the moment. I just have a small play on Brian doesn't scorecards, no scorecards, or decision, doesn't go decision. But yeah, clear dog or pass. It's just still deciding on how I want to put the big money on it.
Man, I wish that Kelleher was minus 500 here. I'd definitely play him. No, I'm just kidding. I like Kelleher a lot here. You're right. Like when Cody gets forced to fight, it's tough. The commentary on his last fight was talking about how amazing and how he looked like a world champion in his last fight. And I had trouble understanding that. Like he wasn't throwing anything. He would throw a couple strikes and then move out. And they're like, man, he looks like a world champion. Doing this on the outside is great. But then when you're forced to have a firefight or you're forced to wrestle, you're forced to defend guillotines, you're forced to defend all this stuff, the fight changes a whole lot. Man, Kelleher is an ultra vet. He loses to the top level guys, right? He's going to lose these guys, the Mario Batistas of the world. But man, he swings hard. He throws the guillotine. He stands up when he needs to. Like he constantly pushes a pace and forces a fight. I'm with you. I don't even think it's a Cody's narrative, a chin narrative. I think Cody's scared to fire. I think Cody's hesitant because he knows about his chin, and that can even force Kelleher to just outpace him, outdog him, and win this fight. Maybe it is a levels fight. It could be. Cody's one of these guys I think does everything amazing. He wrestles well, boxes well. He's got all the tangibles, the things you can measure and things you can see. But man, Kelleher is just kind of a dog, man. I like him in this spot to get it done.
Yeah. It's another scary dog shot, but you have to take it. What are you gonna do? Just pass up on all the value because you're scared to lose money? See how brave I am.
Get it back.
Yeah, we can get it back. Oops, I just fucked around with my tabs. Alrighty, I think we're doing all right for time. You've got an hour max, right?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Ariane, Aldana, Carol Rosa. Yep, you know what I'm going to say, right? It's just the clear dog or pass, man. Minus 200.
But I'm interested why. I'm interested why. Yeah.
All right, why it's a dog or pass?
Yep.
All right, I'll tell you. Because for some reason, I spent way too much time on this fight, and I almost didn't get a chance to tape the whole card. It's a bad time management by me, which is what I'm known for. Yeah. I just didn't want to do 2 fights and move on and think, dog or pass just because it's females MMA. I wanted to break the girls down to a T. And if you're listening to my show, which I know you don't, I've been a Ariane Aldana hater for ages, man. She's always been overrated. Her boxing's always been overrated. Footwork. And I've been saying this, and first she was a money train. A lot of these, players these fighters that I'm crapping on, I was on them when they were getting squash matches. But then when they go up in ranking, then I try to fade them, and then they still burn me. So she was a money train at first, and some of them I was sweating. Like the Betchko Hair, I was sweating. She was losing to Betchko Hair in Brazil. I was like, what are you doing? She wasn't throwing. And for some reason, Betch went for a takedown, and she got a submission. And I was like, thank God for that, because that was not looking good. And I already had flashbacks from the split decision. Yeah, but I already had split decision from the Rocky Pennington fight, where she just gave up round 3 on the back looking for a calf slicer for 5 minutes straight. And then I finally cash in big on Holly Holm at Pick'em. And the whole world sees for 5 rounds that she has no footwork. She can't cut off the cage. She's awful off her back. And then she's still a massive favorite over Macy. It's like the bookies are constantly overrating her. And then we saw... And even after all that, we saw that she's not on Holly Holm's level, and she's just not that good. People are still taking pokes on her against Amanda Nunes, and she comes out with the biggest stinker performance that I wasn't surprised at all. She made no improvements. It was the same as the Holly Holm fight. She just stood there, sniffing her gloves, and just getting calf kicked and nothing. She has nothing other than power. I'll give her that. She's big. She's quite manly. Apologies if you listen to the show. But yeah, she's got that over Rosa. But Rosa's also stupid. Rosa's, awful IQ, no physicality. She always gives away round one. She gets held up against the cage a lot. And, a lot of times she hurts these girls and then just, clinches up with them. And her wrestling's a bit average. But, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are hammering Aldana against Macy Chiasson. I played Chiasson. I didn't know how Chiasson was going to win. Kind of like this fight either. I don't know how Rosa's going to win, but I played the money line because of the value. And I thought it was a great bet up until the elite up kick scissor to the liver. So same thing here. Again, I'm thinking, do I play another dog, or do I wait for live bet? Because Rosa is pretty likely to get hit really hard in round one. She got dropped by Lena Landsberg of all people, for God's sakes. So yeah, I actually just decided right now I will live bet it. This is one fight I'm not going to rush and put my money on Rosa pre-bet. I'll live bet it because she also got destroyed by Yana Kunitskaya in round one too. So I think she will lose round one here unless Aldana just completely flakes. But yeah, that's where I'm at. It's just there is no way that there's not going to be value on Rosa unless she gets finished, which it's
and I have a tough time seeing that happen. Yeah. I'm totally with you. This one for me is dog or pass, and I kept going back and forth on this one. I want to love Rosa. I think Rosa's been a huge favorite in so many fights because she puts high volume. When she actually is throwing, she puts high volume. She knows how to go out there and win fights. Her hands are clean. Her combos are clean. But man, she's just so slow and plotting. Like this reminds me of a matchup we kind of use for reference a lot, right? The Mateus Mendoza fight versus Javid Basharat, right? You have a guy that uses a lot of lateral movement, in and out, feints, guy who's just, really, really moves well versus the guy that's just a solid plotting Muay Thai style. And that plotting Muay Thai style is really easy to get a beat on, right? It's really easy to start working it, putting him in the matrix. The problem is Aldana is not that good and doesn't work that way. I just had a really tough time deciding a winner. I wish that Rosa was a little bit faster or a little bit better, put a little bit better stamp on things, and I think this would be a pretty easy decision for me. I'm with you. I think that Aldana is so overrated. She seemed to wilt, and going life or death with Macy Chiasson is just, it's the worst look ever. I put Rosa above Macy. Yeah, dog or pass for me. I think that's a great approach to do this one is live, just like you said. Rosa will have to kind of figure out her way, wear her down, start putting the volume on her, big bodying her. Yeah, I think that's a great plan. I'd take Rosa and after a live bet.
I just had to double check this. Where the hell is it? Someone delete this? Oh, right. Rosa coming down in weight class. I completely forgot she had 2 fights at featherweight for no reason whatsoever. I'm not too fussed about that. I don't
think that changes much here.
Yeah, it's a natural weight class. I don't know why. I was more worried about her fighting a featherweight than I am a bantamweight. If anything, she'll be probably in better shape here and more physical at bantamweight.
That's what I'm thinking. She'll get rid of that spare tire around her stomach and have a little better cardio.
The pool floaty.
Yeah.
So this fight, this is a long card. Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell. I actually feel like there's some value in Josh Emmett. All right, at minus 200 or worse, it's getting a bit crazy. All right, he barely beat Dan Ige, and I spent too much time watching Josh Emmett takedown defense. Had to go back to Desmond Green and stuff, and Dustin Holtzman. And yeah, he can be taken down, but at featherweight he's better. He got taken down by Dan Ige, got up straight away, took down Ige. He's a good offensive wrestler himself, and I don't care about those takedowns by Topuria when he got the absolute crap beat.
Didn't make any sense.
He just got destroyed, man. And I actually like these two. I can't pronounce this fucking word. The rolls with the silent G, Nabi rolls. I like them, man. I liked them when he was completely destroyed, and he's just. There were high-level rolls, and obviously Topuria just rolled with him. Like, that guy's high-level jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I think I get the feeling that he's going to be an athletic, explosive, hard guy to hold down. And, if anyone can knock out anyone, it's Josh Emmett. And Bryce, I'm not fully sold on Bryce. I took a small poke on Ige. I thought it was an amazing bet, right after that round 1 where he busted him up and he just got taken down with 30 seconds to go. And then round 2, Doctor came in because he was getting busted up again. And then Ige, Notorious Turtle. So once he actually settled on him in round 3, there was no getting up. I thought Emmett was going to be a lot more washed, but watching tape, I'm like, nah, Emmett is still the guy that's going to throw and he's hard to finish. And in a weird way, he gave Topuria a fight. You know, he cracked him a couple times, even though it was like a 50-40, 43 or 44. I don't know. I don't think he was that bad, man. This is a dog or pass. But it's a classic tale of he's preparing for a striker, and now he gets a grappler last minute. We saw they did my boy dirty, Uroš Medic, a couple of weeks ago. He's preparing for Parsons, and then he gets because of the Tajikistan dude from LFA just mauled him. So I feel like it's a bit rough for Emmett, but man, he's an alpha male.
Hey, you know what's so funny is I actually was just out in California. My girlfriend was refereeing a jiu-jitsu tournament, so I had some time to kill. Went to go study some tape, watch some British boxing, and the cafe that I went to, I saw a familiar face out front. I was like, "Hey, don't you fight?" It was Uroš Medic, and then he comes inside and starts talking to me, and he's telling me about that whole situation. He's like, "Yeah, man, I was ready for Parsons, and then they give me this fucking guy." So you got to watch out for those.
Dude, I knew he was going to lose straight away when as soon as they announced that fight. I was like, he's losing. He's losing for sure.
Yeah, and so did he. Unfortunately, so did he. But God, this is such a tough one for me. I mean, I picked Emmett in Topuria fight, which in hindsight is horrible, right? I played into the Topuria cardio narrative way too much, and you know, I didn't think he could be as effective grappling as he was. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It was in the later rounds. It doesn't really matter. But, man, I love Bryce's chain wrestling. I picked against Bryce with Ige. I just thought Ige was much more of a threat on the feet than I guess Emmett will be. I think Emmett's shots are a lot more predictable. Yes, he throws harder, but everything is right there, easy to see. Bryce is just so much younger. He's tenacious. Like his chain wrestling, his grappling, a lot of stuff I really like. This is a tough one. Honestly, I'm not going to probably have any part of this one. Just purely as a winner, I see Bryce eventually cage pushing, chain wrestling, getting him down and just kind of wearing on him. One of the big differences is his jiu-jitsu, right? That's it separates him from a lot of guys, is the ability to not only get someone down, but hold them down. Back takes, everything like that. I think I like Bryce in this matchup, but not by a wide margin. I think you're exactly right. Josh still got some fight in him. And he's got big, made of stone hips, and that's really tough. I think that Bryce is going to have to get him moving in order to get him down. But once he does get him down, I think he's going to be able to hold him down, control him better than a lot of guys. Yeah, I mean, the age is it's a big deal for me. The age, the injuries, the weight cutting, all that stuff is a big deal for me.
These overs are a little bit out of hand, wouldn't you say?
What are they at?
Just over 1.5 is $1.30. Like they're priced like a women's fight. There's a bit of finishing upside. Yeah, a bit of finishing upside on both sides. It's a bit crazy. But yeah, there's nothing I'm really passionate about over unders.
Fight.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole card over unders. We haven't really spoken about it, but there's no over under that's really caught my eye. So it's just one of those.
Let me see. Let me pull up the.
While you're having a look, I'll move on to the next fight. All right, we're in a good section now. Beginning of the main card. Vicente Luque, Ian Machado. Let's just leave it at that. And everyone loves him. Everyone loves Machado. As in, you know, they're all saying he's a high-level guy, and you know he's going to run through Luque as well. And I get it. You know, he looks good on tape. I'm just going to say Kevin Jusset did a boy better than Ian Garry did against Song. That's all I'm going to say. Did it way better.
Maybe that's the fight to make.
Yeah. Jusset is improving so quickly, that guy. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, no way I could. A lot of people parlaying Garry, not for me. I think his time is coming. I think he's good. He's better than I thought, but he's not as good as everyone else thinks. That's where I'm landing. I think he's had cupcake matchups. I think someone like Neil Magny should not be in the rankings. I've been saying that for years now. Anyone that goes to split decisions with Phil Rowe should not be in the UFC ranking. And you know, when Malott finishes him, he'll probably get booted from the ranking finally. You know, Daniel Rodriguez a bit slow. Song Kenan. I mean, we saw what Gabe Green, Darren Weeks. Yeah, this is a step up. Even though Luque, you know, has fallen on some hard times, and this is the type of guy that he loses to, you know, someone with good lateral movement and that can counter him. And yeah, I mean, how can I not play someone that hits like a truck like Luque, that's durable, that's been tested, it's been 5 rounds, that's lost to, you know, Bilal Muhammad and Jeff Neal. By the way, that week when Jeff Neal pulled out, I think it would have KO'd Garry as well. No doubt in my mind. So yeah, I think no one that Garry has fought is really going to give him a challenge, but maybe Vicente won't either. But I think the left hook's going to be there. I think he's going to hit him at least once. I'm not just saying that because Song countered him with the left hook. I mean, Luque is, you know, hit Bilal with the hook. I mean, he's killed everyone with that left hook, right? So he's good at countering. I just don't know how I feel about, you know, his last fight. Like, are we going to get that patient wrestling Luque, or I feel like he needs to go back to his old self. I think he needs to pressure Garry, and he just needs to calf kick him and maybe a bit of wrestling to just put him on his toes. But yeah, I mean, how do you not poke this plus 300 on Luque? Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I get it. I understand the value is there for sure. Luque is by far the best opponent that he's ever fought. It's funny you were saying like his UFC run's pretty weak. It's funny. I actually think that his pre-UFC opposition was better than his UFC opposition. Like the James Sheehans, Mateus Fislak. Yeah, those guys are better than a lot of the guys he's fought in the UFC, which is funny. Man, this guy's good though, man. Ian Garry really is good. He really is talented. One thing, you know, in his Cage Warriors tape, I forgot Jack Grant. That was a good fight. Good tape to watch too. They hadn't been training partners. Dude, this is the thing that's breaking my heart. I said this on our podcast. The thing that's breaking my heart the most is how much invested Henry Hooft was into Ian Garry, and now he's coaching against him and they're game planning against him. It kind of breaks my heart, right? He like loved that guy, and it was him and Shavkat were his 2 dudes that he was bringing up, and now it's now they're game planning against him, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I understand the poke. Luque is a veteran, man. He hits hard. He seems to adjust in fights, right? Nobody thought he was going to win the RDA fight, and then he comes out with something that he really doesn't ever do, right? We thought he's going to march forward.
I thought he was going to win the fight.
But did you think he was going to grapple like that?
Oh, no. I mean, who did?
Okay. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. If it's a standing fight, okay, I could see that. It's possible, but we all thought he maybe would end up on his back, right? Or a lot of people thought he would end up on his back. I think the lateral movement's going to give him a lot of trouble, right? He is a little bit slow and plotting and just kind of marches you down, and that lateral movement is a problem, and his length is a problem. If we're picking purely winners, I think Ian Garry is going to win the fight. I don't know. My style's a little bit different than yours, obviously. You know, I understand the poke on Luque. I think it's fine. I probably will parlay Garry. I think he's that good, man. He really is.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I have nothing against parlays. It's just my parlays are Song Yadong, right? 50-45 with no chance of losing. You know, that's my parlay. Yeah, and it's still better odds than Ian Garry right now. I like locks for my parlays. And this one. So I've got nothing against parlays. It's just even this card, I don't like any, for my style. I don't like any parlays. Like I would probably
no. This is not a parlay card.
No, I would parlay Shavkat.
I'm going to be honest. Most of my it's too much.
Yeah, too much. It's
no. I was going to say
beyond the parlay territory.
Yeah, it's not even adding any value. I think for me, it's going to be a Cage Warriors and LFA kind of week, and even LFA's money lines are disgusting too. So
yeah. There's no when there's like 5 events like this week, then I don't force parlays because I can just find locks on one card and just like mix and match them. But yeah, I'm not a narrative guy. Let me just add before we move on. But man, the narrative is kind of making me forced to play here, right? They trained together, right? Henry Hooft has trained Garry before. This whole women thing, you know, there's rumors about that he can't handle the banter that's going on. Whereas Conor McGregor was eating it up, and you know, anyone that's bothered by that kind of banter and his family and all that crap that he's saying, like, it's got to affect him in the fight, right? Someone like Conor would thrive on it, but this surely affects him, right? And then the last thing is, what was the other narrative? Fuck, it was a big one. Training. Oh, everyone's coming out and saying Ian Garry's been knocked out by this guy, knocked out by Edwards, and then what's his name? Brandan Allen saying someone sparked him in the gym as well. And it's like, cool. That just goes along with what I've seen on tape, that he's getting hurt by everyone, you know, Song and Williams. So I was
Yeah,
like,
he is. I mean, that's the
yeah,
truth.
it's not rumors. It's like people are saying, oh, nah, his chin's good. It's just the defense. I'm like, nah, he's chinny, man. Like, come on. He hit Song landed the same stuff on Gisette, and he didn't even wobble him. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's gonna knock him out, man, it's gonna be Luque, one of the hardest hitters in welterweight. So just sprinkle a little bit of narrative, you know, for the listeners.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna grab a water really quick. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
All right, make it quick, otherwise I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh shit! I just got rid of my tab. Oh no, here we go. All right, Tony Ferguson, Paddy Pimblett. I'll be honest, I didn't tape this fight. I don't need to go in depth. I know both these guys well. I remember the fight where Tony Ferguson, you know, completely took a dive against Diaz and refused to throw a spinning elbow that was right there the whole fight. And yeah, it's just I can't play Ferguson. I know some people are on Ferguson. I can't do it. This is not my kind of dog shot. And yeah, set up fight. Yep. I mean, if Bobby Green can submit, yeah, I just can't do it. I'm leaning pre-tape, leaning Paddy by submission. I think it's better odds than KO, and that way I don't risk too much money. But that's about it, man. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a setup fight. This isn't going to be close. I think Paddy's been on a good supplement program for a while. He's been quiet for a while. Like, he's coming back, and they're going to really start pushing him after this one. I noticed you just said that like took a dive against Diaz. Someone told me about some interview that he said that he actually kind of alluded to that. Is that true?
Well, again, we're short on time, but it was the card where everyone was crapping on Khamzat Diaz main event, and then there was an altercation between Khamzat and Holland, and then Khamzat misses weight by like 8 pounds, which is just perfect to fight Holland, whose fight was a catchweight, 8 pounds over. And then when Joe Rogan asks him, he goes, "No, I don't want to talk about why'd you miss weight. Why'd you miss weight?" You know, I'm not a body language guy, but it seemed like he was really uncomfortable. But it seemed like they made him miss weight on purpose so they could make that fight. And then just watching Tony Ferguson, nothing clicked until I watched that fight. And then I'm like, what is Tony Ferguson doing? I know he's washed, but he always throws that spinning elbow, and he didn't want to throw it, even though Diaz's head was right there. And then he started throwing in round 3, and he just kept looking over his shoulder, like to make sure that he doesn't accidentally knock out Diaz when he throws. It was weird, man. I was like, that's the weirdest performance I've ever seen in my life. And then that early tap to that guillotine, he let his knee blow out against Dariush, and he let Oliveira break his arm, and then he taps to a guillotine. Come on, man. And then you've seen him go out cold against Green, and he didn't tap, but he tapped. Come on. That just proves everything.
Yeah. This isn't going to be a competitive fight, unfortunately. I wish it was. It's not going to be.
Yeah. It sucks that they're going to shut me down now, because this is the MMA breakdown of InfoWars with Alex Jones, because I just broke down the biggest conspiracy in the world. But hey, it's the last episode of the year, so I don't mind giving it to the fans. I'll make a new account if they block me.
Let's go with a bang. We'll have you on our show. You can just take over.
Yeah. I would love to troll Santino. I feel like Santino is very easy to troll. If you can troll him, I can definitely troll him.
Oh, 100%.
Shavkat Thompson, man, I think we can just keep this one short. He feels like the same kind of fight as the Tony Ferguson. Thompson's not as washed, and Shavkat's a bit hittable. And I was looking at, the dog, but I just think Shavkat can grapple, man. He's got power, and there's just too much going for him. And yeah, don't want to waste time on it.
I think he's going to have to grapple, man. I really think he's going to have to grapple. If he's going to stay in that range with Wonderboy, not that it's an unwinnable fight, and not that he's not more powerful and younger and long, but I think it becomes infinitely more difficult. And, for what it's worth, Santino doesn't think that Shavkat's wrestling is that good. And I think that Thompson's going to give him a lot of issues. But I don't see it as near as much here.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of body lock stuff. But yeah. I mean, it's just the fact that he has a striking, man. Like, sits down on that 1-2 when Thompson's hands are completely low, just like Trailblazer did. And even the overs are unders. I want to play the over, but it's juiced and it's probably accurate. And then Thompson gets hurt a lot in round 1. Even Luque cracked him in round 1. So it's like, I'm forcing anything on this fight. So, alrighty.
All right, co-main.
You want to take it away, sir?
Oh man, Yeah, this is my division, and I've trained with Pantoja quite a bit. I love the guy, man. You know, biased. I love the guy. I think he's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. The guy just game as fuck. He's got the craziest chin I've ever seen in my life. What's weird about this is Royval just feels different. It feels like a very different fight than the first one. That one was like a just such a nonchalant fight. Like, all right, we're going to see who's going to go ahead in this division. But Royval's got the swag right now. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to like who is the better fighter, who makes the better decisions, who's got the better cardio, more solid jiu-jitsu. And for me, every single thing lines up with Pantoja. I mean, the dude looks like he's gassed, but he'll come forward swinging punches, and he's not afraid of the chaos either. Not a lot technically, not much more than we saw in the first fight, right? Royval's going to try to throw a crazy high volume, and Pantoja hits like a truck, marches forward, throws great leg kicks, good takedowns. I think his jiu-jitsu is infinitely better than Royval's, who's mostly a submission-style guy, versus Pantoja, who is positionally excellent, but also has very good submissions. I got Pantoja, man.
I'm the same, man. I'm the same. Royval is a beautiful dog to hit. You know, he's with that cardio, the pressure, the jiu-jitsu, the danger. But he has a lot of holes. He has a lot of holes. And yeah, we saw the first fight, and it's like he'll be winning, and then he will get cracked, or he'll get taken down, and he'll get his back taken because those holes are still there. You know, he still gets backpacked a lot. He gives up his back to scramble. I said it with Brady Gastelum. I was on Gastelum, but I was nervous about the fact that Gastelum scrambles, and you can't really scramble against someone like Brady because he's just on your back. And I feel like Pantoja does the same thing. You know, Royval tried to scramble, and Pantoja just kept following him. So yeah, I agree, man. It's just I feel like anytime Royval has some significant minute winning equity, is just Pantoja's going to crack him or take him down or backpack him. And I'm still not rushing to lay, minus 200 in Pantoja. It's a 5-rounder. I think there is cardio issues. It's just the way he fights. He's one of those guys that's never going to quit on himself. So, but yeah, we can move on. But one tidbit I'll add: first time these guys fought, I lined up a massive live bet on Royval because he looked like Pantoja was slowing in round 2. And as you know, you have to call up in Australia. You have to call up, and because it's illegal, and they have to confirm your details, and then you lock the bet in, and they confirm it, and the lines are always jumping. And I bet it, and they're like, "Sorry, you can't bet this." I'm like, "What do you mean?" So they limited me. They limited me live on air. Like I didn't know I was limited until I called up to live bet. And as I'm angry that I can't put my bet on, I'm like, he's melting him, and then he just locks in the rear naked choke. I'm like, oh good, and I just hung up. It just looked like he was melting him. Like, but apparently my boy Manny Moicano, I don't know if you heard of him. He says that Pantoja had a bad knee injury. So, I mean, he even with a knee injury, he just ran through him in that fight. So.
Hey, for what it's worth, I'll just give this tidbit again. Nobody watches this show, so it's kind of cool. I think it was maybe 5-6 years ago. Pantoja came out to train with Henry and the whole crew. Man, Henry couldn't hold the guy down. Henry would take him down 100,000 times, could not hold the guy down to save his life. And then on the feet, I mean, Pantoja's just a dog, right? He dogged everybody. I've never hit, to this day, I've never hit somebody so hard as I've hit Pantoja, square on the jaw, and he just kind of like laughed at me and then proceeded to fuck me up. So, I mean, the guy's jiu-jitsu is, I thought mine was the greatest shit in the world, and he submitted me like crazy. The guy is fucking unbelievable. He really is, with top level guys, like not just amateurs or whatever, but like top level guys. He's it. He's the guy.
Yeah, I agree about the chin, man. I mean, I'm sure you hit really hard for a 55 kilo guy, but all you got to do is watch that Figgy fight, man. Oh, the damage you took in that Figgy fight. I'm like, this guy will never ever get knocked out. I don't care what anyone says. Alrighty, you can take away the main event, man, because you're my specialist.
Yeah, I like this lateral movement. I love the lateral movement of Leon, and he just feels like he's really got the momentum. Taking so much time off, a guy who's striking is as bad as Colby's, and honestly, Usman has great takedown defense, but man, Usman was slow and old. I don't think there's a lot to say on this fight. I know everybody really wants a good dog shot on Colby Covington, but I just think this is Leon's fight. Man, his striking, his get-ups. Santino said this a lot. He's always controlling the wrist as he's working his stand-ups. Masvidal a lot of times is really content to strike every time he was getting taken down, right? He's always punching, rapid punching, throwing elbows, almost conceding the takedowns. And Leon doesn't do that, right? He's working the wrist. He's trying to stand back up. Even his counter grappling, like working his hips to come back on top. We saw that in the first Usman fight. It's been so good. Man, this feels like two different trajectories. I feel like Colby's almost a meme at this point, and Leon's a real champion. I know he's a little bit of juice here, but I think well worth it. I like Leon in this matchup.
Do you agree with me that there is no way Pantoja is getting subbed by Royval? He's like a
I can see it in a world. Yeah, he's good. He's really good. But I could see it. If he got tired and then Royval got to his back, and I could see it.
Yeah, I'll take it back. Anything's possible. We've seen crazier things, but I'll be shocked.
If you had a jiu-jitsu match, if they had a jiu-jitsu match, it wouldn't even be close. Not even close.
No. Pantoja reminds me kind of Brandan Allen. I think Brandan Allen is the one guy that can like go into Paul Craig's guard and just not even be close to getting triangle. Like just his defense is like crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's the narrative, man. That's the narrative that Kobe's a bit older and the whole layoff. I'm hearing everyone and yourself included, which it's fair enough. I get it. I don't know. I'm not rushing to just bet it based on that. Obviously, Leon is a favorite. I mean, watching both those Usman fights, and I was on him in both of them. Obviously, one of them I was a lot smaller. The second one I was chasing, so I live bet him a lot, and that's only because it was in London. And I live bet him right before he got cracked and grabbed the cage and got a point taken away. So I was about to break my laptop. But luckily, Usman, she looked awful. He's just plotting, and his entries were like to lead to Alenkar's last week. And that's not the Usman that I'm used to, man. And yeah, just was happy to get kicked on the outside, which watching that, I was like, I'm going to play Kobe straight away, whatever the odds are, because Kobe's going to push the pace and he's not that washed. And Usman's wrestling might be better, but yeah, what I've seen from Kobe is better. Sure, you can ignore that Jorge Masvidal fight, like whatever. But yeah, I'm just leaning dog or pass. But I don't have a strong read because I think Leon is, what is he, like 32? He's still improving, man. It's every fight I'm seeing like a new wrinkle to his game, and I don't even know what the guy is. He's probably the most well-rounded guy in the division. All right, he's the first guy to take down Usman, and he mounted him. It was just like, this guy can do it all. Has good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, good striking, good get-ups, good cardio. He's got kicks. He's got boxing. He's athletic. Yeah, he's got dirty punches, dirty boxing, elbows in the clinch, literally everything. So I think this will be a competitive fight. So yeah, and people saying, I think I might have heard you say it on your show, but it's fine. People saying, the Usman fight was good, but then he looked, he wasn't that washed against Khamzat. I think he still looked washed, man. I think that was just Khamzat threw nothing and Usman threw nothing and ended up being a split, but he still looked washed to me, man. He got dominated and then just threw nothing for rounds 2 and 3. And Khamzat gave him an easy fight. So yeah, I don't want to ramble on. I've got no strong takes. Maybe live bet it. Maybe see how Kobe looks. It's a 5-rounder.
Yeah, I think after the first wrestling exchange, you're going to have to determine it.
Yeah. But then the line's probably going to be destroyed because, like, you see, the bookies are quite sharp. Someone stuffs a takedown and everyone just piles on live. But then the fight, plays out, and then the takedown actually comes later in the fight and stuff like that. So
yeah, second, third, fourth takedown.
Yeah, exactly. Or what about that last Usman fight where Kobe was like getting destroyed round 1 and 2? I'm like, dude, he's regressed so much, and then he looks like he won round 3, 4, and 5. So you don't know what his game plan is going to be. You don't know if he's going to like not wrestle early or. So I'm just going to watch this fight, enjoy it. I'll be at my friend's house, pay-per-view. So maybe have some drinks. And hopefully I'm up for my boy Gaziev, Lipski, and Kelleher, and Rose, and who knows what other dogs I'll lock
down the list, huh?
Yeah. All right. So on this show, man, because you don't listen, as you've told me, only a couple of times, we do best bets at the end. So it's like your favorite bet out of your favorite bet and your second favorite bet. It's got nothing to do with value, so you can actually relate to this one. It's just the bet that it's the bet that you think is going to hit, and that you want your listeners to like tail and hit. And yeah, my favorite was Bo Nickel round 1 at -200 over Jamie Pickett. And Lucrative was shitting on me. He's like, "Oh, I'm not going to give that out." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's going to hit. You give out what's going to hit. Your favorite bet, you know." So I'm going to look. I'll let you look at your favorite and second favorite, and I'll try to give mine on a card like this where it's all dogs. I said I'm going to pass
right,
if
go.
I'm not confident in my bets, and that's where I'm at. I'm not confident in these, dog shots. The dogs for a reason, but I don't know, man. I'll give Gaziev. I'll give Gaziev as my favorite bet.
Really? Oh.
Well, what else am I going to do? Give him Lipski?
All right.
Actually, no. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
I'll give him Lipski.
Give him Lipski.
I'll give Lipski because Twitter's not on her, and the line's not moving, and I'll look less square. I'll look less mushy if I pick Gaziev. So Lipski, let's go.
I want to go Lipski too, but that would just be really, really bad for me. Geez. All right. I wish I would have known this. I should have watched the show far more, man. Let's see.
You'll make up for it from here on out.
I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll watch every show twice. I'm gonna go Tagir Ulanbekov. I think he's gonna be. This is gonna be a levels fight versus everybody that Cody's been fighting who cannot grapple. I think Tagir is gonna get it done. Show that there's levels to the grappling. So that will be the one for me.
Nice, man. That's cool. I will. I'll have to look into that some more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get a stronger read personally. Do you think he wants a decision over, or do you think the sub is live? Do you think that guillotine is live?
Probably not. I mean, I just don't think guillotines work in MMA. And Cody's too good of a grappler, but I think he's going to decision him, get him tired.
Sorry, man. My stupid dog just started barking up a storm. All right. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Sorry.
Only 10 minutes over 1 hour. You want to plug anything? You got any fights coming up? You want to tell us all the fighters you're training with every day or stuff like
that? No, well, I'm going to go in and help Mir Albazi train for get ready for Brandon Moreno. Hopefully fighting in February. LFA. Boom, boom. Yeah, fighting February LFA hopefully. So and we'll get some good stuff in.
Oh, you're fighting in LFA in February. Nice, man. Nice.
Hopefully, if we can get a good matchup, it'll be then in Arizona.
Fuck yeah. Did you wanna plug my Discord for everyone before you go?
Yeah, check out the BigSteve, the Big Brain Discord. And that's it. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. Now I have to practice.
What a legend. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you doing this.
All right, thanks, man. Bye.
Have a good one. All right, good luck on your bets, everyone.